Good morning. It's August 5th, a little bit past 7 a.m. I pretty much woke up a little about 10 minutes ago. I saw this trade and I entered it in real quick once I drew up my studies. I just wanted to show everybody what I saw and how I put everything together to enter the trade. This is pretty much how my chart looked when I woke up and turned on my computer. This is the Australian dollar versus the US dollar. And what we're looking at right now is the 15 minutes. We see an extreme, we see a low, and then we see pretty much a retrace here. If you look at the retrace, you can pretty much see an A to B, B to C, C to D. What I did was I went ahead and drew the A, B, C, D to sort of verify that that's what we were forming, and that's what I got. I entered the trade. Well, when I woke up, it was about right here. So, also, we were looking at a inside bar as far as inside bar type 2. So then I went ahead and drew my fibs. So from X to A. And this is actually the first leg here. And I noticed, well, I don't really like this leg. Not only would it invalidate the pattern, but of course we're looking at ABCD. So then what I said was, well, what does it look like if I change to the 30 minute? And the 30 minute, you see that we got a nice smooth leg. So that's what I'm gonna use as my reference here. I then drew my B to A. I didn't mess with the A to B. I can kind of look at that and say, okay, 38.2, between 38.2 and 50%. So here we got our fibs drawn for our A to B. We drew it from B to A. We dragged it over to C. And we do have a little bit of convergence. It's not perfect, but it's still only, 2 pips away. Which lets me know, okay, there's a good chance that the price is going to retrace. Now here's the problem kind of looking was, this isn't too far either. And as I go up, it does get a little bit more distant, more separated. But I get a little skittish of trades where there's so many convergences so near each other. But I went ahead and entered. When I entered, how I entered was I went back to the 15 and I looked and I said, okay, we have an inside bar here. This was the candle, and at the time it was green, so I just put my entry right a little bit 2 pips below this candle. This still gives me some room to breathe. Now let's talk about where am I going to get out of this trade. There's a couple of options here. What I'm first going to do is I'm going to erase this ABCD and fib, and I'm going to draw 2 fibs. I'm going to draw from our extreme point up to our D, and then I'm going to draw from C point, from C point to D. Now, what this has done for me is, if I want to be conservative and, be less risky, I can take my CD point and I can look at the fib retracements on that to give me a good idea of where I should get out of the trade. So let's look at this. Price has already come down to about the 38.2 for that leg, and that converges with the 23.6. Our next convergence point, I'm really looking at convergent points here, is the 38.2 and the 61.8. So how do you manage this? How do you get the most profit that you can from the trade but minimize your risk? Well, I wish that I had gotten in here. That would be the way for me to manage the risk the easiest. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. So I have to do a little bit different. What I would usually do is, if I entered in here at the point that I got to 23.6, well, on this one I would have waited here because we have a convergence. I would have went to break even. at this point, 38.2 and 61.8 convergence, I would have probably taken off about half of the trade. And the last point that I would have taken off would have been this 1570.8. I would have took off the rest of the trade. 84.19 to 84.48. What's that? About 30 pips. That would be about 30 pips. I scaled off my order a little bit early here, but I still would have taken a nice profit. Another method that you can use that I'm personally not too fond of is you can use your stochastics and your other indicators. At the point that you get to 50%, scale off about half of your order, and then of course as you get lower, look at scaling off the other portion of your order. Personally, I like to use fib ratios. I mean, that's what we're using to enter the trades. Why not use them to exit the trades? But to be a profitable trader long term, you really need to maximize, get the best entry, and try your best to get the best exit. But that just wanted to show everybody this trade, kind of what I did and how I did it, and hope you enjoyed the video.